Hey everybody, welcome to TradeScope. My name is Luis Garcia and I'm a part-time trader. This is my weekly recap where I talk about all the stocks that I've been trading lately. Before I get started, I gotta let you know that this video is for educational purposes only and is not meant to be taken as financial advice. Okay, so let's get started. I finally broke the streak. Of not taking any momentum trades for the past, I think it's been 4 weeks at this point. And I broke it late on Friday with my trade on SGLY. So I saw this on my, I opened up my momentum scanner on Trade Ideas late Friday afternoon. It was around 3:30ish, and I just went through the history for the day because it was the first time I was looking at the scanner for the day, and I kind of started poking through some of the stocks that had been going up. And then I also noticed the halt scanner had been pretty active for the day. So I looked back in the history for the halt scanner for that day, and I noticed SGLY not only was on it from earlier that day, but also was popping up on it as I was looking at the scanner. So I looked into it. SGLY had no news, hasn't had news in like a month, and it had no real catalyst I could see. But I did notice it was a low float, 4 million shares in the float, and it was trading at like a buck at the time. It was what, $1.25? Let's see, $1.25, $1.50 ish, right? And it had just hit the scanners, or it just had hit the halt scanner. And I looked at it right around here when it was breaking 153, and it hit that final halt. So when that happened, I decided this stock, while it's not, I wouldn't say it's a premium setup, it definitely fit a lot of my criteria. So I decided to get in as I saw it popping up out of this halt. I got in on this candle right here when it pulled back all the way to it got all the way up to 186, and then it pulled all the way back down to 160, and I got in on that quick pullback. I got in with 3,000 shares at $1.65, and then I held it through this little pullback, this hammer candle right here, and as it popped back up to retest that 186 spot, I let go of all of my shares at 185. So 3,000 shares for a 20-cent gain. That's about $600 worth of profit. I was very pleased with that. It only took me about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to make. So $600 in 5 minutes. Total maybe of like 15 minutes. Turning on the laptop, checking the scanners, logging into all my accounts, doing all that stuff, and then shutting everything down was a total of about 15 minutes. So that is the great thing I love about trading, especially momentum trading, is that you can do that. The market conditions aren't always conducive for that, so I try to do it sparingly. I know there are a lot of momentum traders out there who do this day in and day out, sometimes all day long. I definitely don't have the focus for that, and I also just don't have the time for that given my the rest of my schedule and my full-time day job. So as you can see, it kind of like held this range between 160 and 180, I'd say, for the rest of the day until close, and it finally popped up in after hours for a quick pop to 205. So could I have held it? Yeah, but then I would have had to hold it through all this chop. See if I can get like a channel tool out here. I would have had to hold it through like all this chop, and when I'm in that heavy, I don't like to do that. I like to be in and out. Either I make money or I don't. I try to cut my losses really quickly because these can really turn into bad bag holders, right? And that's something, if you've been following my channel, is something I struggle with is bag holding. So it's a lot tougher to bag hold a stock like this because this thing could just be dormant for years. It could go insolvent, like they could end up going on the OTC market, right? So something like this, I try to get in, get out, and I'm done, right? While there's liquidity, while I can either take a good win or a small loss, and that's pretty much my strategy for these. And that's really all I traded for this week. I was just happy to break the streak of not taking any momentum trades. I just either haven't had the time, or when I do look at the scanners, when I do have time, I just don't see anything that is worth my setup, is really fitting my criteria. So as far as momentum trades go, I'll explain a little bit about my criteria. So typically I like to see a low float, like under 20 million is good. It could be a higher float if it's a higher stock, because that just means that if it's a higher priced stock, because that means there's just it's just easier for the liquidity to churn, right? So it's really what you're looking for with these momentum stocks is liquidity and momentum. So low float is a definite must. It has to have volume, some sort of catalyst. I think this had like 17 million shares of volume by the time I got to it. Yeah, it had quite a bit of volume this day. And again, I don't know why. There was no catalysts. So that's another box I kind of like to check is what's the catalyst? Why is this thing moving? Typically, I like to find some type of news. Like with biotech stocks, it's typically something like phase 1, 2, or 3 results are in, good results, FDA approval, something like that. So yeah, that's kind of my criteria for these types of trades, and you don't always find them. So I've found, for at least my sake, for what I'm doing, to stay out of the market as much as I can to reduce my risk has been helping me a lot, especially this past year, in 2025. So I'm kind of going to continue that. When I see the momentum, I'll jump in and try to make some money. And when I don't, then I try to stay on the sidelines, and then maybe take some swing plays, which swing plays haven't been working out so well this year. I haven't really taken much anyways. I took a few near the end of last year. I'm still kind of holding those, and they didn't work out the way I wanted them to. So I'm trying to be more careful with swing trades. Those are ones like SYM. What was the other one? DJT is another one. Tesla's one that I've been covering the past couple weeks. Actually, let's take a look at Tesla, because this has been on a wild ride, man. Let's look at the daily chart. So I know there's a lot of controversy about Elon Musk right now. I think it's overblown. I really do. It's a small minority with a loud voice. And I think it's affecting the stock. I think the stock is being affected in an overblown negative way, right? Because here's the deal. A lot of financial institutions have come out and said they're overweight. Here's one example. Tesla price target maintained with 550 shares. $550 share by Wedbush. See if I can find another one. Tesla is maintained at overweight by Morgan Stanley. So, institutions are finally starting to come out and say, look, like we're still heavy into this thing. We still believe in Tesla, and there's no reason not to, right? Just because a few radical attacks have been happening at some dealerships, it doesn't mean they're not going to sell. They're not going to hit their numbers. They're not going to hit their production numbers. But yeah, for right now, because of that risk, I'm really hoping just to get out with a small loss or a break even. So if it comes up to the 200 right here and it can't break it, then I'll probably get out with a small loss, be about $500. If it comes back to my cost basis, which is about $300, then I'll see if it can break and take a little bit of profit. Maybe it'll come all the way back up here. But it's not something I'm really, I kind of you have to plan for a lot of volatility when you're trading something like this, which is why this probably wasn't the best trade for me to make at the time. I didn't realize how much worse things were going to get for Tesla at this point in time when I took the trade. I figured, they took a little bit of a hit because of tariffs and yada yada, but then all the attacks started happening and it slid a little bit more. So it is what it is. I think I did a good job managing risk. I didn't double down, right? Even though you probably could have gotten a good price in there. I didn't double down at the bottom. I just kind of held through it. I kept my dry powder capital ready for other things, and I think that's paying off. So yeah, I'm just waiting. You can see the MACD is finally turning around for the first time since like the election, roughly since December last year. So I think these are good signs that we'll at least get a short-term run, bullish rally in here. But anyways, that's enough about Tesla. SGLY was my big winner this week. Let me know what you guys have been trading, how you guys have been faring the market in these conditions. Things have been very different this year so far. So I'd like to hear from you guys. And if you like what you're seeing, please don't forget to give a thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you next week.